Christine is a 50-year-old college teacher from the West Coast who is the youngest of three sisters. She is of British extraction, but has lived in the US for many years. She has engaged in many years of therapy and spiritual work. You will be able to tell from the transcript that she is quite intelligent and able to access subtle experiences in herself with clarity. Prior to my class, she had done some therapy work involving childhood hospitalizations that seemed to cause repeated panic. She also had memories of her sisters running away and leaving her but hadn't yet worked on them. Since she was in my class, she already knew a fair amount about the IFS model, which helped her in this work. I chose this session because the work moves in a fairly straightforward way, which is helpful for this initial demonstration of IFS. Most sessions involve many more complications and sidetracks, which the IFS model is excellent at handling. Christine starts this session by bringing up an issue from her life that she wants to explore.
I would like to work on how I get confused and distracted sometimes. Most of the time I am quite clear and sharp, but every once in a while I get fuzzy and confused. This often happens in situations where I need to have my mental acuity.
Okay. It sounds like there is a part of you that becomes confused at times. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So let's focus on that confused part. How do you sense it in your body?
Well, when it happens, I feel a slight dizziness and blankness in my head.
In IFS, we don't analyze our parts. We contact them directly. Check and see if you are feeling separate enough from that part to get to know it.
Well, I'm not sure. I think so. How would I tell?
In order for the work to be effective, Christine must be in self as she gets to know the part. This means she must be in a grounded, separate place from which she can relate to the part. Do you sense in yourself a clear place from which to connect with the confused part?
I'm having a hard time telling about that. What question did you just ask me?
It seems pretty clear that Christine is confused right now. This probably means that the confused part has taken her over, blended with her. Therefore, I have her ask it to separate so she can be in self. It sounds like you may be blended with the confused part right now. So ask that part to separate from you so you can get to know it.
Okay. Well, now I feel differently, more solid or something, and I actually see an image of the part as a cloud of smoke.
Good. Check to see how you are feeling toward this confused part right now.
I wish it would go away. I hate being confused.
Okay? That hatred and desire for it to go away are coming from another part of you. Ask the hateful part if it would be willing to step aside so you can get to know the confused part from an open place. Since Christine hates the confused part, I can tell that she is still not in self because self doesn't hate.
Sure, that makes sense. It is willing to.
Good. How do you feel toward the confused part now?
Kind of curious about it, like why does it do this to me?
Christine has now accessed enough self for us to move on to the next step, getting to know the confused part. Okay, invite that part to tell you or show you more about what it feels.
It says that it feels sleepy and dull. I can sense that it goes blank.
Dull and blank?
Yes. It says, I want to go to sleep. I don't want to be awake or conscious.
Ask the part what its name is or what it would like to be called.
I get the word confuser.
Okay, we'll call it the confuser. Ask it what it is trying to accomplish by being sleepy and confused. I pose this question to discover the confuser's positive intent for Christine.
It says, I don't want to see something. I don't want to know something.
See, it says, I don't want to see something. I don't want to know something. This part has to just make unclarity and confusion, blandness. It wants to make sure that I don't know what is going on. It creates confusion to protect you from whatever is going on. You might ask the part how it creates confusion and not knowing.
Various things. It internally changes the subject. It takes my attention away. It looks or acts very agitated, so there is no settling or landing in one place. It draws attention to itself and therefore away from whatever else is there. All those ways. Now the part looks like a person who is making magic signs in the air to create confusion and distraction.
It is fairly common for the image of a part to change as you get to know it. Okay, ask the confuser what it is afraid would happen if it stepped aside and allowed you to see things. This kind of question serves a specific purpose. It tends to lead the inquiry toward the exile that is being protected.
What it says is, what would happen is just unthinkable, unspeakable.
I see, so it is very frightened about this.
At a survival level.
Yeah. You might ask the confuser how long it has been doing this job.
It feels like forever.
How does it feel about its job?
It's a completely impossible job, overwhelming, yet it is unable to stop.
Yeah. See if there is anything else the part wants you to know about itself.
I feel clearly that it does want my love and respect and gratitude for suffering on my behalf.
Most parts want appreciation for performing their roles, but they rarely ask directly in this way. And what's your response to that?
I do feel a lot of appreciation.
So really let the confuser know that.
I feel I can't even express in words how much I appreciate the degree of dedication and desperation this part has shown.
Yeah, so you really get it. And how is the part responding to you?
It's softening. And as it softens, I see one very clear thing. When I said earlier that it didn't know how to stop, that was because it had no connection with self. There was nothing for it to release into, relax into. But now the confuser is softening because it does sense that I'm here.
This is very moving to me. Christine has really connected with the confuser from self, and it is beginning to trust her and relax. This is an important step. Good. Ask the confuser if it would be willing to show you a part that it is protecting with its confusion. Most protectors can't completely let go of their roles until the exile they are protecting is no longer in pain, so we need to heal that part.
Oh, now I'm getting a glimpse of a panic state behind the confuser.
Check to see if the confuser will give you permission to get to know this panicked part.
Okay, it is not sure about this. It's very nervous.
You might ask it what it's worried about. What is it afraid will happen? Since the protector has concerns about proceeding, we need to find out what these are so we can reassure it. Otherwise, it won't give us permission to work with the exile.
The confuser is afraid that the exile will come rushing up and swamp me.
You might invite it to signal us in some way if it feels that the exile is beginning to swamp you, because we can keep that from happening. This protector can actually help us by letting us know if that starts to happen. IFS has techniques for helping a person stay in self and not be flooded by an exile's emotions, which will be covered in a later chapter. I reassure the protector that this is possible and invite it to help her do that.
All right, it seems okay with that. Now there are all sorts of judgments coming up. I will be too slow. I will go meandering all over the place and nothing will happen.
This first reassurance seems to have worked, and now the confuser's other fears come out. This is good because it gives Christine a chance to reassure it about those as well.
I'm telling the confuser that I can understand its concerns, but I don't think that will happen. We've tried things like this before, and I have shown myself to be helpful when given the chance. And you are there as well to offer support. So I suggested to the confuser that it's a chance to find new territory where it can relax and not have to work so hard.
Christine suggests that the protector has something to gain by allowing us to proceed. It would be able to relax. How is it responding?
Okay, these images are so funny. The confuser sort of sat back in a lawn chair and crossed its legs to watch what happens next. It's so funny. Oh goodness.
Good. The fact that the confuser sits back indicates that Christine's reassurance has worked and it is giving permission to proceed with the exile. Her parts can trust her fairly easily. This is an indication of how much work Christine has already done on herself.
So here is the exile. She's very little and skinny and quite frail. It's interesting because I'm tall and strong, but she is in a little dress and she is quite vulnerable in her small, light little body. She's all knotted up in her throat and she's watching and on the edge of panic.
You might ask this part what she would like to be called.
I guess just the little girl.
Okay, ask the little girl what she is so frightened of.
That she is going to be left alone in the dark and nobody will be there. It is so interesting, but now she is panicking and it's too much for me.
Let her know that it is okay for her to be scared, but ask her not to flood you with it. Being swamped is one thing the confuser was afraid of, but we can take care of this by asking the exile not to flood her.
I'm okay now. I don't feel too scared anymore. It's good that she is allowed to feel the panic because otherwise she would go away.
This shows the importance of making it clear to the exile that asking it to separate doesn't mean it can't feel its emotions. If this exile felt that her emotions weren't allowed, she wouldn't have trusted Christine enough to stay around.
She likes that I'm here now. She actually sees that there is someone here, and she is surprised. And as soon as that happens, she calms down and just wants to talk to me. She's not charged.
She is more relaxed and open to you. Now that the part isn't flooding Christine with her panic, Christine can be in self.
Yes, that's right.
What does she want to tell you?
How hard it has been for her. How she's had to do it all on her own and she's really frightened. She didn't know what was happening. Nobody was there. My impulse is to ask her what the situation was.
Sounds good.
I can see how my mind jumps in and says it was in the hospital when I was a baby, but I'm not sure.
Christine has an intellectual idea of where the exile's fear comes from in her childhood. But to be sure it's accurate, she needs the information to come from the exile experientially, so she asks her. This also allows the work to proceed in the alive, embodied way that it needs to.
She's telling me it is dark and the lights are out. Nobody's there, so that means nobody loves her. There's no one to take care of her.
This is the childhood experience that created the burdens of fear and panic and the belief that no one loves her.
And so from the point of view of self, when I hear that, I want to hold her. I want to sit her on my lap.
Go ahead and do that. Christine has a wonderful spontaneous impulse to comfort the little girl. She is reparenting the part, which is an aspect of the healing process.
I'm struck by the little body that doesn't have tension in it. It's a very soft, undefended little body, and there's a weight, a heaviness in the heart that she is carrying around. Okay, the heaviness in the heart comes from hopelessness that nothing is going to get better, and she has to carry this burden all by herself because nobody else is there. There it is, I can see the thread now. When nobody is there to pick her up, there is a contraction, a closing off, a walling off. There is fearful watching in the cells of the body. This heavy heart has formed over time. It's not one event that does it, it sort of chips away. The heaviness comes from her inability to change anything.
The heaviness in the little girl's heart is a response to many events over a number of years in Christine's early childhood, in which no one was there for her when she needed comfort or holding. Gradually, the little girl grew hopeless about getting the care she needed. And the thing that formed in the cells of the body, what was that?
The watchfulness, the alertness, guarding, protecting, and the closing off from the world. It's like a defense, it's a felt thing, almost like a catch in the tissues. Now there is a sense of being frightened, caught in the dark by herself. That feeling is much younger, it goes way back. I'm getting a specific memory. She's flailing her arms and legs. Somebody is supposed to come and pick her up, but they don't come. Now I'm getting some vague memory of something dangling in a crib, a hollow sound. There's a sense of trying to get somewhere, to get picked up, but no one is there.
She desperately needs to be picked up, but no one comes. In the middle of witnessing the little girl's story, Christine has accessed an even younger part, which I will call the baby, who has earlier memories related to the feelings of aloneness and panic. We still don't know exactly when this was or what the external circumstances were, but that is not necessary for healing.
Yes, it's interesting that I say that, because this is different from how the little girl feels. I can't quite make sense of that.
Well, sure. This younger memory is from a different part.
Oh, I see. The little girl comes later.
The baby has some very early memories of being stranded in her crib when she really needed to be picked up and comforted. Christine seems to have had experiences like this over the next few years, which left the little girl, who was stuck at 4 years old, with similar feelings of being alone and panicked, and also hopeless and guarded.
Well, right now, something is shifting by itself, I think. By feeling both of them there is less charge.
Would you like a suggestion?
I would.
Now that Christine has witnessed the story and feelings of both parts, she can move on to healing them. Focus on the baby and bring yourself into that place where she is all alone. See what she needs from you.
She wants me to pick her up.
Go ahead and do that.
She cries louder, and then she just clings. Now I'm nuzzling her around the ears, and she's just clinging to me. I see her bald head. She's quite young and doesn't have much hair, just soft down.
Can she sense you there? Christine is reparenting the baby. I asked this question to make sure that the baby is receiving what Christine is giving her.
Very much so.
And how is she responding?
Softening, and now she's not crying. She's feeling into me and resting into me. And now there's a little burp. You know when a baby has been crying and there's a little aftershock going through her? I can feel it in her back.
Clearly the baby is taking in Christine's reparenting.
Well, okay, I don't know if this is right or not, but what happened is that the little girl wants to hold the baby, so I'm going to let her do that.
Okay.
It's so sweet. The whole thing has now just shifted to this beautiful playtime. I just feel so much love, not just from me to these little ones, but both of them are bathed in love. They're totally relaxed.
The reparenting seems to have gone well, so I suggest we move on to the next healing step, unburdening. The baby has taken on certain feelings, like panic and loneliness. If it's appropriate, we can do an unburdening where she releases those emotions she took on. It's possible that some of them have already been released during this process, but it might be helpful to conduct an internal ritual to release them further. Check with the baby to see if she would like to release them.
Okay, goodness.
What's happening?
There was a rush of sadness and pain, and then when I asked that question, she wanted to grow up so she could be with the little girl. It's like an accelerated growth thing without any blocks in the way. I felt a big rush of emotion coming up. It moved through my heart in my body.
And was that okay?
Yeah, it felt good.
Good.
The baby is happy.
This is very sweet. It seems that the baby has had a spontaneous unburdening that came from my just mentioning the possibility of the ritual. Of course, this could only happen because of all the good work that had already occurred in this session. Now I have Christine check to see if the actual unburdening ritual is still needed. I offered to do an unburdening ritual, and then this feeling moved through you. Now check to see if that is all that is needed or if the ritual would still be helpful.
The baby is fine now from whatever that rush was, but the little girl seems to need an unburdening ritual.
What burdens is that little girl carrying?
The heavy heart, the despair, the sense that things will never change, that she'll always have to carry the panic and fear of the baby.
First check to see if she is aware that the baby's happy now. I want the little girl to be aware that the baby has been unburdened because that might allow her to let go of her hopelessness and her need to protect it.
Yeah, she wants to play with the baby. That's interesting. Even though she's playing with the baby, there's still a belief that she's got to look after it and carry that burden. Even though she's seen with her own eyes that the baby is happy, she still thinks she can't let go of that heaviness and hopelessness.
Okay, ask the little girl if she would like to release that heavy heart she is carrying and the belief that things will never change.
That's disorienting because she believes that is who she is. Without that belief, she wouldn't be there.
Let her know that if she lets go of that belief, she can take on any other role she wants and be whoever she wants to be. Parts aren't defined by the negative beliefs and emotions they took on in childhood, which IFS calls their burdens. They have their own potential that is intrinsic to them. That is why they can let go of a burden and take on a new role in the psyche. I explained this to the little girl.
Yeah, she wants to let go of that so she can play. She can see that that would be fun.
Good. Check and see how she is carrying that heavy heart and the hopeless belief where she carries those in her body or on her body.
There is a weight around her heart, and the rest of it is almost like a heavy mantle that she wears over her head and back and shoulders. And she's not allowed to be joyful.
Okay, she can have those washed away by water, or blown away by wind, or she can give them up to the light, or put them in the earth, or have them burned up in fire, or anything else that feels right to her. IFS has discovered that it is helpful to release a burden to one of the basic elements in nature: earth, fire, wind, water, or light. This signifies that the burden won't come back because it has been carried away or transformed by something elemental and powerful.
She wants them to be transformed so nobody else has to carry them. So, burning.
She wants to burn them in fire.
She wants to burn her little dress as if that is the burden. That is so weird, but that is what she is saying. She wants another dress.
So arrange that. As this is happening, feel that burden leaving her body and take as much time as she needs until it's all gone.
That's interesting. She felt quite disoriented and scared in the moment it was changing, but then I held her hand and now she's got a new dress.
Are all those burdens gone now?
Yes.
So notice what positive qualities are emerging in her now that the burdens are gone. Now that the unburdening ritual has been completed, there is room for the exile to embody those positive qualities that are innate to it.
She's grateful. The two of them are actually looking up at the smoke from the burning dress as it blows away. So bizarre. Somebody in here is a bit embarrassed by all this, but these images are coming, so I'm just going to say them anyway. They're playing footsie with each other. I mean, I couldn't make that up. It's really happening. It's sweet. All the little feet.
That's wonderful. And the unburdening sounds complete. So now check with the confuser. See if she is aware of the work you just did.
I remember she was sitting back in the lawn chair. Oh, this is a real English expression. She is gobsmacked.
What does that mean?
It means shocked, words taken away. But she's okay.
Ask her if she still feels a need to create confusion.
She seems to feel like that isn't necessary anymore.
The confuser only needed to perform its protective role of creating confusion as long as the little girl and the baby were in pain. It has been paying attention, so it realizes that role is no longer needed and it can now take on a new one. Good. Ask her if she would like to have a different role in your psyche.
Well, let's see. She wants to be a kind of guide or mentor for the little girl so she won't feel alone.
Great. See if any other parts want to say anything before we stop.
There is one part I've never met. She's in awe of the process and of what's possible when the other parts don't interfere, being able to create a beautiful thing. I can plumb the depths and access something without the usual limiting voices. That feels very strange to this part. The self says, of course this can happen, but this part feels it has never seen these depths before. Thank you very much. It's been quite a journey.
What a wonderful session. The exile and protectors have been unburdened, and the protectors have let go of their protective roles and taken on new healthy ones. I chose this session because it illustrates in a single chapter what is possible with IFS work. It is exceptional in that Christine encountered very few difficulties in the process. Few people have such smooth sailing. Often, more resistances and sidetracks must be handled to achieve this level of access and healing, and it usually takes more than one session, sometimes far longer. Don't be discouraged if the work you do on yourself doesn't go this smoothly. IFS is expert at handling the difficulties that arise, as will be explained in succeeding chapters.